Good.
Do we have anybody dialing in today?
We do not have anyone joining us virtually.
Okay, I'll call to order this meeting of the Senior Advisory Committee, and we'll do a roll call. Susan Bill is not here. Dave Kleinfelter is. Martha Helgerson? No. Julie Hughes? No. Jan Jacobson?
Present.
Patrick Jones?
Yo.
Jack Loft?
You bet.
And Nancy Swanson?
Present.
So we have a quorum?
We do.
That's good. Do we get any new, I'm sorry, maybe I'm jumping ahead here.
No, that's okay.
Do we get any new members out of the recruiting process from city council?
I know we've had a few applicants, but council will be doing interviews, I believe, on March 14th. So that's when they'll make their final determination, and then next meeting we'll have some new faces, hopefully.
And have we had any resignations or is anybody leaving at this
And
point?
I
How
have
does
not
that work?
seen any formal resignations. We do have one committee member's term that's up. That would be Martha Helgerson, and I have not heard from her
Okay,
on if she'll be reapplying or not.
all right, sounds good. So at this point in the agenda, we have room for petitions, proclamations, suggestions, or complaints. Anybody hear anything you want to share?
I was just curious, did someone respond to the person that I suggested he apply?
Yes, yep. Yep,
Oh,
our city clerk was out on vacation the week prior, but when she came back, she immediately responded to him.
Yeah, oh, good. He'll be a good member. Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Melissa, do you have anything to share from the city?
I do. 1 second here, Chair. I got some events that are coming up and programs that I'd like to share with you. The first is Combating Ageism, which is sponsored by the Chanhassen Senior Commission, Carver County SHIP program, as well as Carver County's new Communities of Belonging. This is an in-person and virtual event, however you'd like to join. If you're interested, I did put flyers near your spaces. I also emailed them to you last Friday, and if you have any questions, they do have a phone number that you can contact related to the program on getting set up there. But I have it on my calendar to attend, so if anyone would like to join me, you are more than welcome. The next on there is Citizens Academy. For those who do not know, the city hosts a kind of a one-on-one or 101 on city programs, how the city operates, and it's scheduled for April 6th to May 4th. We go through, basic city budgeting, basic how we do our sewer, water services. We go through the public works vehicles, the fire trucks. It will be held in person this year. Jan, I know you participated last year virtually,
I
so
did
if you
do
want
it.
to retake it in
I
person.
did it last year and I loved it. I learned so much.
Yeah, I'll
And-
put in a plug too. I did it 2 years ago, which is part of the reason why I volunteered to be part of this group.
It sounds like it's going to be now in person this year.
It is,
Oh,
yeah.
that's wonderful.
Where is that going to be held?
And where is it?
Yeah,
You're right
great
here.
question. So the locations will change depending on the topic. So for example, if we're talking about city council and government 101, we'll most likely have it here in council chambers. But if we're doing a tour of the water treatment plant or going through the public works vehicles, we'll probably have it at those facilities. You'll be notified well in advance on where the locations will be, but they are always going to be Wednesdays. From April 6th will be the first day to May 4th from 5:30 to 7 p.m.
You learn a lot about the city.
Do you need to pre-register or
You
anything?
do, and that information is on the city website. Jack, just let me know and I can send that over to
I'd
you.
appreciate that. I'd be interested in some of that. That sounds interesting.
It was a lot of fun.
Just writing a note here. The other event that's coming up, hopefully in warmer weather, is on May 18th. We have our Wasserman Lake Open House, or Wasserman Lake Preserve Open House, my apologies. If you are interested in learning more about how the Wasserman Lake Preserve was started, we'll have city representatives there, The Watershed District will be there to talk about the park. They'll also do site tours, facility tours, so if you're interested in that, I don't believe you have to RSVP, you can just show up. And that is, again, May 18th from 3 to 6.
And where is that?
That's going to be at the new Wasserman Lake Preserve, right off of County Road 43.
Oh, see, everybody talks about all these different communities, and I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a great facility. It was opened last July, at the beginning of July. Wonderful facility. It's all nature-based programming. It's just a really cool place to check out. So if you haven't yet, it's right in your own backyards. Go on and check out the Wasserman Lake Preserve. Again, you can tour it in the winter, but I'd recommend it when it's a little bit warmer. And then the last thing isn't necessarily an event, but it is a program that the city launched last year. It is our Community Builders Award. We are looking for nominations until the end of the month. Community Builders are our city's founders, our city's kind of, well, just people that are, or organizations that are heavily involved in the city. We are looking for someone to be nominated for this award, which will be posted in June this year. So if you know anyone that's kind of an all-star Victorian, an all-star organization that helps out the city of Victoria and the community, feel free to nominate them for this award, and City Council will go through them this spring. So, yeah. And that is all I have.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Do we have minutes from February 7th? We had a quorum and actually.
Yes, so great question. Jan, you notified me right before the meeting that the meeting minutes weren't able to be viewed online, so I would suggest we just table that until the next meeting, and I'll make sure that they're posted. You guys have a chance to review them.
We do have official minutes.
We do, yep.
We'll, without objection, we'll just wait and do that next.
Yeah, and I believe we'll need a motion to table it.
Okay, is there a motion to table this until next month?
Oh, I'll make a motion that we table the minutes.
Ann and Jack, moved and seconded, thank you. New business, we have no old business, so the next item is Carver County Public Health Update.
Yes, and Dawn, unfortunately, last minute could not make it. She has a sick daughter, but she would like us to note about that combating ageism program, and suggest that everyone can attend if you're available. So,
Okay,
she'll join us next month.
good. Item 6.2 then is the Victoria Senior Expo, and Alyssa, you're going to give us a update?
Yeah, so also sitting in your respected areas is the flyer for the Senior Resource Expo. If you would like to take more with you and hand them out, they are sitting over on the table over here. Also, they're sitting downstairs. So if you'd like to pass them out at your residence or your neighbors, feel free to take some extras along. But again, the Senior Expo will be held on May 17th this year from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Lions Pavilion near the Lions Park area. And today we're going through some potential vendors, and I'm looking for any suggestions on groups or vendors that the committee might see as good people to invite into the expo. So with that, I'm just going to highlight some confirmed vendors for the event. First on the list, and there's no rhyme or reason to this order, but first on the list we have a dietitian from McIntoons Grocery Store in Waconia that will be joining us for that event. We also have Southwest Transit with the possibility of bringing a coach bus as kind of like a touch and feel of going and seeing what their buses actually look like. We have Carver County Adult Protection Services that will be joining us. Carver County Library, thank you, Patrick, for putting that in.
And we'll also, in addition to like being there, staffing a table, I'll bring a laptop so I can show people the website and how to download ebooks.
That's a great idea. Thank you. Emerald Crest in Victoria will be joining us. The Community Action Partnerships of Scott, Carver, and Dakota Counties, otherwise known as CAP, they provide a ton of services ranging from food service delivery to providing clothing to providing well, you can do food shelter with them. So another great organization that will be there, the Victoria Lions Club, and then Old National Bank of Victoria, and they'll be doing a money safety presentation for us sometime during the day.
Are we having any other presentations, or is it mainly going to be, because we talked at the beginning, there might be something like every half hour with a half hour for walking around?
That is the only one we have scheduled at
Okay.
the moment, but I am very much open to suggestions on what we could possibly bring into the expo and groups that we think would be nice to invite. If you know anyone specific that might be good at a presentation or a topic, be happy to start researching that. Some organizations that we've already reached out to, but either have not heard a response or still waiting on confirming the date, are AARP from Minnesota, Alzheimer's Association of Minnesota, WeCab, which is a local transportation volunteer service, Trellis Connections of Minnesota, Care Providers of Minnesota. We've asked a local law firm to join us, a local hearing solutions group to join us, a local housing remodel organization that specializes in kind of adapting your home towards seniors or for seniors to be part of this, as well as a local music activity group. So that's who we've reached out to so far, but very interested in hearing your thoughts, groups that we should be contacting, businesses we should be contacting.
Is there anyone else from the county, like the sheriff or public health?
Yes, we've reached out to Public Health. Dawn, who wasn't able to be here today, is planning on filling out the application, and she put me in touch with other Carver County
Okay.
organizations.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I
Rec
should,
Center. Oh, I'm
well,
sorry.
I think I should bring this up to Julie. I mean, Bethesda's right next door to Lions. She should be there with her information.
Yes, and I believe I did reach out to Julie as well, but I will double check on that, Jan, and make sure.
I'll mention it to her, yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
And then also a local law firm, I think in the newsletter, one of the little things that came around, one of the law firms locally talked about estate planning and how important it is. And I think that would be a field that seniors would like to know about.
I mentioned the rec center. Maybe that's too obvious that people are in there all the time, I guess. But I don't know everything that they do, and I haven't been there for 2 years now, so it'd be nice to know what's going on. I know they're building some new pickleball courts and things like that.
They are, yeah, I think you're right, Chair. They would be a great group to bring in, and I plan on talking to them about being part of this. I've also talked to the Victoria Fire Department about kind of presenting the same information that he shared with us. And I think estate planning, I've added that to my list to find someone specialized in estate planning. Yeah.
So Alyssa, what's the program for advertisement?
Good question. We're advertising through our communication channels, various social media posts. We're printing out flyers and bringing them to our own staff facilities. And of course, we're putting it in our printed newsletter, which will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. And then it has been added to our Victoria Spring and Summer Recreation brochure.
Is there, can you go back one?
Yes.
I don't know who Emerald Crest is. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Emerald Crest is a senior facility that is, trying to think of the address, right off of County Road 18 in Victoria, specializing in memory care.
Okay, okay. Do we have within this neck of the woods anyone who does a senior daycare?
I don't.
Or at home, or if not that, then people who provide at-home care?
I don't know about
Yeah.
specific senior daycare. There is Encore in Waconia
Okay,
that
Encore would be
specialized
good.
senior activity organization.
Yeah,
I know they partner with the county. I think they're right across from the Historical Society in Waconia.
Yeah.
I have not reached out to them. They are in our senior brochure, but I'd be happy to. I think that would be another good organization. And just a thought, I believe Encore, if anyone's interested in learning more about them, there is a flyer sitting up at this table at the moment.
And I know many seniors, one of the things they do in their retirement years is pursue artistic endeavors. My memory is there's a Victoria Arts Council.
There is a Carver County
Carver
Arts, consortium.
Okay,
Yep.
that might be someone to invite so people can learn, classes they offer, how to display their work. That might be another possible invitee.
What group would do that?
It's the Arts Consortium.
There's a county arts consortium.
Okay,
that has
so,
art shows and competitions.
yeah, and so is there someone coming that can talk about that?
I can reach out and see.
Yeah, that and blood pressure and just different things.
Well, anyone from Ridgeview? Anyone from a medical facility?
Yeah, we have reached out to Lakeview. Don't have a very good contact information
Okay.
for anyone from their admin. So if anyone is or knows of someone else I should contact other than their just basic website forum, I'd be happy to take that.
Lakeview is,
In Waconia, but I'd be open to other facilities as well to talk about specific towards medical care.
back to advertisement.
Yeah.
I'm starting to learn that there's groups in the city, like the Lions Club is an obvious one. There's the Garden Club, right, that does pretty active. Does somebody from the city contact those people, or would it be helpful for one of us to go to one of those meetings and say, hey, we're having this expo, here's what's gonna happen? Because my guess is there tend to be older folks that are part of those two groups at least, but I don't know. Does the city have a list of organizations like that or groups that are kind of located here?
Yeah, great question, Chair. So the Lions contacted us about advertising just last week, and I'm following up with them on specific to advertising. I can ask if someone is interested in going to speak to them about the committee, about the brochure, about the expo. I'd be happy to bring that up to them and pass that along to the committee if that would be something someone would be interested in doing.
I'd be happy to go to some meetings like that if you had contacts.
Yeah.
People to go to.
I will check in with them and let them know. We do have a list of organizations in town, sometimes with their contact information, sometimes not, depending on
Yeah.
if we have that and if it's up to date, but it's usually pretty up to date. So I can start digging and start contacting those organizations as well. If anyone has any groups that they're involved in or that they know how to contact these groups, feel free to pass it along to me, or feel free to contact them yourselves and just start spreading the word.
The woman who runs the Victoria Gazette, I wonder if they would want to have, or she would want to have a booth. Because she has so much local history of people might want to, she might actually find an opportunity to find people to talk to for stories for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Also, the Garden Club, isn't that a lot of retired women or men that
It's-
kind of keep that going?
Is, yes. And our Park and Recreation Director, Ann Monkey, kind of manages that group, and I'll reach out to her and
And if
advertise, two, see if she wants to. Sorry, Patrick.
No, I interrupted
If she
you.
wants to have somebody come out and do a booth.
If they don't, then maybe the Master Gardeners. They do an information booth at the library. It's actually starting in May, so, and they could promote both their activities and, of course, I'm selfish, they could also promote that they're going to be at Waconia and Chanhassen libraries. And Chaska,
Yeah.
we don't have,
that would
we don't
be
have a
good.
space for them here, or we don't think we get the foot traffic, but I think they'd be a really good, 'cause I think that's something people who have nice lots here are really interested in, is they're keeping them up.
So maybe you said this and I forgot it or I didn't catch it, but is there going to be any food service there?
We haven't determined that yet. If that's something, we can take a look at that if we want to do some sort of either bringing
food
fooding
truck or
in
something
or a
like that.
food truck. I can see our recreation supervisor has a pretty good connection with a lot of local food trucks because she brings them in for other events, and we can see if that's something that people would be interested in. Is there any food preference that we would like to be more geared towards?
We should probably ask the dietitian from Mac.
You might have some thoughts.
Mini donuts.
Actually, I think the master gardeners would be excellent because they're knowledgeable and they would field a lot of questions, and that's the time of year to do it. I think that'd be excellent.
Okay, I will reach out to them. But, going back to food thoughts, is that something, any suggestions, or just see who's available as a food truck? Usually they have a requirement on the type of event, but again, I'm not an expert on food trucks, but I do know we do have somebody on staff. Holly Koffold is definitely an expert.
Yeah,
And it's
that would
what,
be good.
10 to 2?
Yep.
So it's over the lunch hour, so there
Yeah.
might be coffee and a donut or something, sure.
We don't need more than one, I don't think, but one
Yeah.
would be good.
It'd be nice to have an option there.
Yeah.
Any of the local restaurants do off-site things like that?
Not that I know of, but again, I can definitely.
Give them the business if they want to do something.
Yeah.
They do for the car shows, they at
Yeah,
least
I know,
set
they do
something
a lot for
outside,
car
but they
shows.
don't travel that, I know.
I think I brought up last year, if the Arboretum Apple House or the Arboretum itself would like to donate, just couple bushels of apples or whatever, just for picking up, just from the Arboretum, or just as,
The problem is that time of year, they don't have any apples left. They're closed,
But it might be a good group to bring out as a vendor as well. I didn't even think about our neighbor next door, the Arboretum. I know they do a lot of different programs and a lot of different volunteer opportunities.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Because it's so close. Any other comments, suggestions?
I should have put this on my form. It's actually going to be the library and the Friends of the Library.
I can make that adjustment.
Thank you.
Anything else you need from us, Alyssa?
If the committee has any other thoughts, feel free to reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to take any
Of
thought.
course, have one more.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you'd want to have a booth, but Commissioners Workman and Uderman, who both serve Victoria, might want to just come and shake hands. And again, I don't think there's going to be Carver County generally has a booth, but I think they should be invited. I don't know if you're going to did we talk about, is there going to be some sort of welcome at the beginning? Some sort of like mini program where the mayor would speak and something like that to welcome people to the first Senior Expo? Someone from our group?
Yeah, we didn't talk about kind of a grand opening presentation. Is that something the committee would be interested in, whether it's the committee itself, or we can talk to some of our local electeds and see if they would want to do something, or in a conjunction of both?
I actually think, yes, that the expo should be opened with a welcome to all those who are attending, and maybe just a little synopsis of what we have available for them to look at, and be sure don't miss this or that or whatever. And it doesn't have to be long. And that our senior citizen committee has worked hard to give you lots of things to look at.
Well, we have our own table,
Yeah.
Bill, yep.
Okay.
so we should be on the confirmed list so that you don't give our table away accidentally.
That's good. I think it'd be great to have the mayor give a welcome if we could.
Yeah.
And invite the other commissioners, from the area that represent Victoria. Give them a chance. I'm kind of thinking about the time though. Will the big crowd be there at 10 o'clock at the beginning, open it, or? I guess that's the right time to do it.
When we advertise it, we might want to put down at what time something like that's going to happen, so people can be sure to be there. In our flyer or whatever we've got, whatever we're putting out here.
Yeah, if there's different things happening at different times.
Yeah, I think that we're going to have to give some kind of a little timeline.
We could do an agenda when we have more things laid out, and absolutely. Is there a time preference on when you'd like to do the grand opening welcome? We could do it more of the noon hour, we could do it more at the 10 o'clock, right when it begins.
I think when we begin, you know, because that way all the vendors are not super busy yet. It's a thank you to all of us for coming.
Sure.
And yeah, I think you do it as an opening ceremony.
I agree. It seems like a
Yeah.
great time.
Awesome. Well, and we'll talk to the city manager about the mayor's availability for that. And then if not, is that something the committee would like to take on? I think if you're all here, it would be very great to, this is me speaking out of turn here, but just to have you all up at the front anyway, just so they recognize who you are.
You also want to contact Mark Olson who does the Chan Villager and the Chaska Herald. Might want to come out and photograph it and run a story on it.
Sure.
That's after the fact.
Good idea.
But, and are you doing well, there's no really reason to do a press release because that's really the only organ other than the Vic Gazette. So I don't know if you want to do a press release, but certainly let the villager know it's happening, but make sure they know it is, so they can come cover it, invite them.
Where are we going to be advertising?
We've been advertising on our local communications, our city webpage, our city social media sites, our Victoria city newsletter that comes out quarterly, our recreation brochure, which comes out quarterly. Both those will be coming out in the next couple of weeks or so. We are advertising, kind of we talked about is trying to work with those local organizations to spread the word that way. Most recently talked to the Lions Club, but if there's any other organizations or neighborhood groups we should be reaching out to, be happy to let me know, and I can pass along information to you, or you can provide me with their contact information.
So we can do a little bigger splash in that newsletter that comes out, a big splash that they're going to notice it. I mean,
I think the
only a couple
newsletter has
pages
already
long.
been went to the printer, so I'm not 100% sure on what it looks like, but I will defer to our communications manager on the design and look of our newsletter.
right,
Yep.
it's got to be noticed. And what paper were you suggesting?
Well, there is the Victoria Gazette, and then I was also suggesting the Chan Villager and Chaska Herald. It's the same paper.
Yeah. A little article in the Chan paper might be good.
We can look into that with the cost.
Yeah, getting them to cover it is one thing, but putting a notice in the two papers, the Gazette and the Chanhassen paper, would be really good, I think.
In advance.
We need to pay for that? Is that where you put an ad in?
I would have to look at what the cost would be and if we have budget in our communications to do that.
I think it'd be worthwhile to put a little, you know.
Well, were we going to have refreshments? Were we talking about food truck? What were we talking? I mean, nothing was really decided. What can we afford to do?
Good question. So if we would bring in a food truck, I don't 100% know on how that would work cost related, if we have to guarantee them a specific amount of people or a specific amount of spending, or if it's more of a goodwill offering, kind of you come and whoever shows up, shows up. So I'll have to reach out to our rec
Okay.
supervisor to really determine on what that looks like. I think what we could do is we could have water bottles stationed. Our fire department does have some water bottle service, and I can reach out to them to see if they would be interested in providing that.
Okay.
So we can use that for free.
Okay.
And absent a food truck, it might make sense to talk to the owners of Butcher's Deli, because they might, be willing to bring in a table with sandwiches and salads and soup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As they're trying to build their business,
right.
that would be, beneficial to both of us.
Well, for entertainment, we could bring in the borough, and we could do some axe throwing.
Yeah, throw some at
Innovative.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking it'd be nice just to have a cup of coffee. available someplace. Have an urn in the corner or something.
Is that possible? Does the city ever do that kind of thing?
Bring in axe throwing? No,
No, no,
sorry.
no.
Not yet.
Not yet. It would be new.
Coffee pot.
We don't have kind of one of those large coffee pots, surprisingly, since we're starting to pick up more and more events. But I'm assuming we'll probably purchase one in the next few months or so.
Well, does the Lions have a couple big coffee pots?
I can reach out to them, see if they would help. I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
If we have a table, it'd be nice to have a coffee pot at our
Yeah.
table, the Senior Citizens Committee, where we could talk to people when they get a cup of coffee.
Then we need to share too. We can't just have it for us. So you're not.
That's exactly right. That's what I was meaning.
So you mean we want 2 coffee pots?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely look at that. I like the idea of having the coffee at the table. It kind of draws people in.
Yeah.
And, you know.
And do we need to all be there? Do we need to man it at certain hours? We can maybe figure that out next month.
Yeah, that was my plan for the next month, and I think
Okay.
I'm just pulling up the work plan, the tentative timeline, just so we're kind of all on the same page. That was going to be something to discuss next month is availability and to kind of dive more into the expo. The other thing, if you notice on March 22nd, not to get too ahead of myself, is to review or for April, I mean, is to approve the senior survey for the expo. That is something we did talk about when we were doing this, is to have some sort of recreation programming survey. That's something in staff we're just kind of taking a look at right now, and then we'll bring something forward to you for you all to take a look at next meeting. And that's something we can have at the table as well.
Yeah. So we have 2 meetings before the expo happens.
We do. Yep.
so that survey is really meant to be filled out at the expo.
We'll do both. So we'll have a digital survey that will be posted on all of our communication channels through the city. But I think it would be good, and I think that's what we discussed as a committee a couple meetings ago, to have the printed survey for people to fill out at the event.
Right. And encourage them to do that, yeah.
Yep.
And you said staff is preparing the survey?
Yep. At the moment,
Keep it simple.
couple
It's
questions.
just I'm working on a survey right now for the Library Association, and it's up to 17 questions, and it's like, you're killing me. You don't need to know 17 things, so.
Any other comments, questions? Lots of good stuff here. So we move on then to other business. We have an item about the AARP grant proposal. Is this Ms. Swanson that's going to talk about it?
Nancy, you're all welcome, but I'm happy to take it if you'd like.
Where'd that come from, David?
It's on my script. You don't get the specific script. Do you have?
I have nothing.
That will be me. I'll take that one.
You're going to do this? All right.
I'll be that
Was
Swanson.
I supposed to do homework?
Your 3-hour work week got a little bigger. Yes, I will go over it. Sorry. So last month I talked about the AARP grant proposal to look at some funding opportunities for the Senior Expo. Unfortunately, the grant proposal deadline, not the deadline, but when they will actually authorize money and projects they are looking for are supposed to be this summer and fall. So the Senior Expo in the spring would not cover or be able to be covered through the AARP grant. So just wanted to provide an update and kind of follow up with you on that piece.
When do we find out if we were accepted for one?
We're not applying just because our Senior Expo is being held in May, and the projects can only be done through.
Oh, I see,
the
I see. It needed
start
a
in the
project
summer,
for it.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
So would it be appropriate to apply for next year's expo?
That's what I was thinking as well, and that would be my next comment, is that we can start looking at what the deadline would be for any programs and events, and see if we'll be able to be covered for 2023's expo. instead of 2022. So we are taking a look and talking to the grant staff to see if we'd be able to apply for that, be covered.
Great. We've gone through all the old business and other business, so at that point where it's time to adjourn, unless there's any other items that anybody wants to bring up.
One last thing, Chair, if you haven't seen yet, we do have new artwork at City Hall. And if you haven't had a chance to vote on your favorite piece, I do have voting pieces up here. So feel free to take a look at the new gallery and vote on your favorite. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Patrick, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded Nancy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We're adjourned.
Thank you all.
Patrick, I have to ask you.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my car outside, and you were downstairs, and there were two young girls. You were looking out the window and